Are you spending the holidays with your family? Well, you're in luck because today I've got 7 tips for surviving a battle royal. I'm Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It, where we dispense information for professional wrestlers no matter where they might be at in their journey. And if you're just starting out your journey, you might find that you are often relegated to battle royal duty. And this is with good reason. In terms of the overall risk to a rookie performer, a battle royal sometimes represents a very low risk offering. It is not a one-on-one match that requires them to have to remember a whole lot of material on their own. And if something were to go wrong, there are plenty of other people around who can help cover for any in-ring mistakes. If you are someone who's spending a whole lot of their time right now battling it out in multiple person over-the-top rope battle royal affairs, then I've got 7 tips you need to know to make sure that you come out relatively unscathed. Number 1. My first tip for you to survive a battle royal is this. Minimize the number of bumps you're going to take in the ring. And if there are more than 3 people in the ring, you want to try and reduce the number of bumps to 0. So 3 people is that maximum safety number. There's someone that you're going to be working with and someone else who will be keeping their eye on the action. But after there are more than 3 people in the ring, chances are someone's back will always be towards center ring. And that means the area where the bumps need to be are in somebody's blind spot. Number 2. My second tip for surviving a battle royal is to think about your strikes. Usually in professional wrestling, we need to maximize the theatricality of what we do. And so our movements have to be blown up. Our body language has to become huge. But you've got to be careful of this in a battle royal, especially as the ring begins to fill. You will not be able to rear back as far on punches, forearms, or other strikes when the ring is full, because chances are there is someone behind you. And if you rear back too far, not only will you end up punching the person in front of you, but you'll end up elbowing the person behind you, except they won't see it coming. Number 3. So you'll remember a moment ago I talked about that phenomenon where there are 3 people in the ring. Well, what if you're the third person? Then what? Your job is just to watch what is going on and wait for an opening. You've got to look for an opening. If it's clear there is no opening, that is not a moment that you necessarily want to go over and assert yourself as person number 3. That third person might end up walking up exactly at the time that a bump is happening, and that's when an accident occurs. So your job, when there are only 3 people in the ring, and you happen to be number 3, is to hang back and look for your opening. Number 4. Once you get past the point where there's 3 people, 4 people, 5 people in the ring, and the ring is becoming crowded, remember this. Anytime you are on the cell, try to always keep your feet toward the bottom rope whenever possible. Even if you have to take a knee, keep your feet toward the bottom rope. This will minimize the possibility of someone stepping on your ankle or an injury happening to your Achilles tendon because somebody else who might also be on the cell backs up accidentally into where you are. The likelihood that will happen if you can keep your feet facing or even under the bottom rope is greatly reduced. Number 5. My 5th tip for surviving a battle royal is to know who gets eliminated just prior to you. And you've constantly got to keep an eye on that individual. Because once they've been eliminated, it means you're up at bat. And if you're not keeping track of that person, the timing of the battle royal can be thrown askew. Number 6. If there are lots of participants in the battle royal and for a moment you happen to be left alone, you've got 3 options. 1 is to register something that's happened to you by calling attention to it and telegraphing it to the audience. Or number 2, you could make a big sell of something that's happened to you and really just draw attention to some of the punishment that you've already received. Or number 3, it's time for you to start firing up. And if no one's attention or focus seems to be coming towards you, you're just going to protract that fire up or otherwise look for an opening so that once you have fired back up, you can go to work. What you don't want to do in one of those moments when you've been left alone is turn back into a spectator. Remember, While you're on stage, you are always performing. You can't just kick back and start watching everything else that's going on and hanging out in the ring in the middle of a battle royal. Number 7. This last tip is going to help you survive a battle royal as well as somebody else in the battle royal. Because right before you are about to be eliminated, you're going to survey the area outside the ring where your exit is meant to take place. And if for any reason there is somebody there, the person who got eliminated before you, a manager who happened to be out at ringside, a tech who's moving where the cables are, if there's anybody in that space, you're going to shift which side of the ring you're exiting on so there is no chance of you or anybody else getting injured. If you've been in plenty of battle royals over the years, then you know some are very rigidly structured and others are barely structured at all. But that doesn't mean you can't introduce certain storytelling elements into a battle royal, like calling on the rule of threes, or EEV, expectation violation, so that the audience has a little bit of meat to chew on while they're watching this smorgasbord of wrestlers going on in the ring. For a deeper explanation of that and other structural elements, I know you'll enjoy my book. 7 Keys to Becoming a Better Performer, a book for fellow pro wrestlers, is available right now over on Amazon.com, where you can get it in print or you can get it in a digital format if that's your preference. And Audible.com has the audiobook. It's narrated by yours truly.